If you truly desire it, it will be yours. Everybody out there is talking about law of attraction, manifestation, reality creation, etc. And I'm doing the same thing, but I want to break it down for you on a very practical level and give you a few personal examples of how this seems to play out and how it's played out throughout my life. And so I'm going to give you three examples off the top of my head of how I have created my desired reality through an act of devotion and adherence to my internal commitment. My internal desire became manifest through the devotion and adherence to that frequency. So, the first one, to kick it off, I want to share a story about a romantic interest that manifested during a meditation. So, this is what happened. I was doing a meditation, it was a quantum healing program, and I had been led astray by false lower desires related to women. And in this meditation, essentially, I connected with a higher dimensional, interdimensional entity that had been placing these false desires in my consciousness to just say, fuck it, like masturbate to that thing, like talk to that girl, even though you're not actually interested. But in reality, my core nature, my higher self, wanted a divine union, wanted a true romantic partner. And so it was during this meditation where I was very much up interdimensionally into higher dimensions and using a quantum healing device and working with cannabis that I saw in my third eye this interdimensional entity. And I made a vow to that entity and to God that I wanted divine union. I wanted a divine partner. I was no longer going to be led astray by false desires. Now, whether or not this entity was real, whether it was a figment of my imagination, it's besides the point, right? Our imagine creates reality. Whatever is in the subconscious mind is believed to be true. So, is it actually real? Is it metaphorically real? Doesn't matter. What matters is the instant during this meditation, I made a devotion to God and I said, God, I'm ready for my divine partner. I got a text message. I realized this after the meditation, but I had got a text message at the exact moment I made that devotion from a girl who I had only met one time, who watched my videos and felt really resonant with my energy. And we literally got on the phone that night. I didn't even know her. I met her one time for maybe 20 minutes. And her and I began talking for a few months. Now, we didn't end up actually dating, just circumstance wise, with me being across the country, and there were different variables which aren't worth getting into. But the point of that story is when the desire became true and intrinsic, and it was a contract and a devotion between myself and God, myself and the universe, it became true. The potentiality for it became true. Now, it did not manifest that she became my girlfriend, but for a period of time, it was essentially that. And the point there is the potential for that reality becoming manifest came as a result of my internal devotion and my internal commitment to that reality. The next example I want to give is also quite recent, and it's related to me going and becoming a college football player again. So, for more context, when I was 19, 20, a few years ago, I used to play wide receiver at a school called Northwestern. You can look this up if you want, doesn't matter. I ended up tearing my ACL, had a bunch of shoulder injuries, stopped playing football, became a writer, started traveling the world, etc. This past October, I decided to go back and play football. Now, how it happened is I was in the jungle of Peru doing a 10-day ayahuasca retreat. And on, I think, the fifth or sixth day, I received a dream that felt divinely inspired. And in that dream, I had the realization that I wanted to go back to college and play sports. And so I sat with that for the next few days in the jungle. I couldn't act on it yet, but I sat with that imagined reality. and I began to imagine myself as this college quarterback, which I didn't even play that position the first time in college. I haven't played that position since I was 18 and in high school. So this is now 5, 6 years later. But again, I began to imagine it as if it were true. I began to feel it in my body. I would notice how my body reacted to that reality becoming crystallized. I began to run around the jungle throwing rocks, imagining that I was playing quarterback. And throughout a few more of those medicine journeys, and throughout about the next month or so, there was an internal debate of like, do I really want this? Do I not want this? I came to a point later on, about a month after, in a meditation, again with this quantum healing device, that I was going to do it if the opportunity presented itself. That being my age, I would want to go and have fun and play. It'd be awesome. Why not fulfill that part of my purpose? Why not go play? Why not go live out my dream and be a quarterback? And so, from that internal commitment, again, this is not telling anybody else, it's the internal commitment between myself, my higher self, and God, which really are no different. That reality became manifest. Now, it didn't become manifest through a lack of action and just me sitting around waiting. It became manifest from the internal decision leading to the actions of I went and emailed every single college Division 3 team in the area. I basically said, "Hey, here's my story. Here's who I am. Here's what I want. Let me know if you're interested." And one day I received a call, and there was a school that was interested, and in the divine, cosmic, humorous way of the universe, my dad played at that school 39 years ago for 1 year, and I'll be playing there for 1 year this fall. And I went and visited, and on the screen, this was also confirmation from the universe. A big reason that I originally left football and got into plant medicines and then went and did ayahuasca and came back. All of it, Aaron Rodgers, who's an NFL quarterback now on the Pittsburgh Steelers, has been a big influence for me and kind of a guiding light on the initial stages of my path. Still love watching him play, still love listening to him. But when I went into that locker room on my visit, this was the only visit I took. Remember, it was, I think, December 6th or something. On the screen at that exact time, in the only TV in the locker room, it said Aaron Rodgers was on the screen doing a live interview, which like he never does, and it said ayahuasca enthusiast. And I pointed to my dad and went, "Yep, I'm supposed to be here." But let me come back to the point of the story and why I tell you. That's kind of a cool little side add-on. But through these two examples, and I could give another one with ghostwriting and like originally leaving college and becoming an entrepreneur. I'll give you the essence and the summary. Essentially, my sophomore year, junior year of college, I began to really contemplate, do I want to work a fucking finance job? Like, is this my purpose? Is this my calling? Is this what I want with my life? And I made an internal decision that I would do whatever was required to not have to do that. So I literally wrote on my whiteboard, I remember this was when I was like 20. I said 2 years of discipline for 80 years of freedom. And I was willing to do whatever it took to make that a reality. And so I woke up super early. I wrote every day. I did podcasts. I added skills, etc. But it first came from the internal decision. And so this is the entire point of the video. Whatever reality you desire will become manifest. This is written in the Bible. Ask and it will be given to you. There's another quote. It's like, ask, and if you believe you already have it, you will have it in prayer. If you believe it is already yours, you will have it. So the key thing here is the true internal commitment and decision to yourself and God that it is what you desire above all else. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to make that a reality. And another key here is don't go tell everybody about it because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter one bit. What matters is the decision between you and God. That's all that matters. Any telling anybody outside of yourself before it happens is subtly looking for some type of validation. And the desire is not true, because if the desire was true, you wouldn't have to tell anybody, you would just go do the thing. So ask yourself, above all else, at this current stage of my life, what do I desire? And go within yourself, tell no one, Don't tell me. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your best friend. Especially don't tell your best friend. That's usually the biggest trap. Go within yourself, have a conversation with yourself, have a conversation with God directly, pray, whatever it is. State exactly what you desire. And if it's aligned with God's will and his plan for your life, you will be shown the steps to take to make this a reality. And if you adhere to that frequency, because that reality just exists as a certain vibrational frequency in the infinite alternative space, parallel universes of this infinite quantum field, it already exists. All you have to do from that point on is adhere to that same frequency. So you have the idea, I want to go live on the beach in Costa Rica. What is the frequency of that reality? What steps do you have to take from that frequency, and how do you stay coherent to that frequency to make it crystallize? Sit with that for a second. What is the reality that I truly desire? Beyond anybody else's perception or opinion of it. What does my heart want? What does my body say I want? Who do I have to become in order for that to become true? How do I carry myself in each moment for that reality to become true? Feel free to keep meditating with that beyond this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. If you want to work with me one on one, click on the links below. You can find some different containers. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.